What is up, everyone? Pastor Jamz here, back with another review, and today we have the 2-year anniversary slash album from Giveon. When it's all said and done, take time. I say two-year anniversary album because essentially this is the two EPs that he's been releasing over the span of the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020. 2019, I believe, was When It's All Said and Done. 2020, last year, was Take Time. So essentially the whole thing has already been released over the past 2 years, but I just didn't have enough time to check them out. Although I did know who he was, and I found his voice and music very interesting, given the fact that he's worked with Drake and now Justin Bieber. But I do think it's a bit cheap in a way to kind of release this as a new album. However, in a way it does work in a marketing standpoint. Let's say a new fan comes along, they could just enjoy this whole album and compilation together of the two EPs instead of listening to both or missing one EP entirely. And I gotta say that it is amazing. Giveon has one of the most unique voices and reflects modern R&B very well. Hence, at the same point, keeping true to the R&B style tradition. 13 tracks, which 2 are interludes, and you're met with 36 minutes. You cannot go wrong. Once you start this thing, you're gonna finish it. Trust me. I'm gonna get the negative out of the way. This album has a variety of takes and issues that he has in his love life. Given that I've read some of the things that he's posted and the story and background behind his EPs, the only one that really sticks out like a sore thumb is Still Your Best, which he kind of comes off as like self-centered, and even though him and his relationship parted ways, he tries to boast that, oh, I'm still your best, even though you have this other man. He's the downgrade. I could see it fitting, and yeah, it's a great messaging for people to really feel good about themselves. But it really comes off self-centered and doesn't fit the message or the way he conveys the album. Doesn't really fit it that well. That is the only really bad track on this thing. Other than that, he deals with issues of himself not being able to really connect with this other person, connecting with the other person because of who they are. People might judge him depending on who he is with, so they cannot be publicly seen. They have to like secretly see each other and stuff like that when he's like in big cities. I don't know if he's talking about multiple women, but he also talks about how perhaps this woman is not actually in love with him. She's just trying to get back at an ex to make that ex jealous, and he notices that. He also talks about anniversaries of previous relationships that he ponders over. Then he goes back to an old ex and essentially tries to lie to himself and trick himself into believing that he doesn't want her anymore, but in the end his own mind tricks him, and yes, he does want her still. Last Time is a good track too because it has the only feature, Snoh Aalegra. I don't even know. I don't know who that is, but they complement each other pretty well. Their voices, they great chemistry, as if they're talking to each other. A couple, this is the last time we're going to be together, and if you mess up, then it's on you. And he also faces issues of just himself, whether his own vices are going to overwhelm him, and he's going to yet again ruin another relationship. But check this one out. The instrumentals I got like on this thing, they don't sound as like generic. They are simple, but they are in a way where Giveon could really express himself in a way that feels new and refreshing, yet traditional to the style of R&B, which is why I believe that this is more of a modern take on R&B. And there's even tracks. It's because the biggest thing about Giveon is his voice, his vocals. He really knows how to project himself, make him stand out from other R&B artists, which I think is a big plus. I feel like R&B is one of those genres that really they really need artists who are willing to take chances and um, divide themselves and partake themselves differently from the generic and bland stuff that is out there. And I really appreciate that from him. And also there's even tracks on this thing where the instrumental is subtle yet not like boring. However, but at the same time, Giveon does that on purpose so that the listener can focus on him. He wants all the attention. He is going to project his emotions and voice. It's like as if his voice is the instrumental. You don't even need the instrumental. Check this thing out. It's a big listen. It's worth it. Uh, I guarantee when you start this thing, you're gonna start and finish it. It's pretty quick in a sense. The transitioning's pretty well, given that the interludes they sort of provide like a little break, and yeah, you know, the tracks are not really like clustered together. So yeah, I am giving Giveon's When It's All Said and Done, Take Time compilation 2-year anniversary album a 9. Even though I think it's a bit cheap, I did not listen to the previous two EPs, so I guess it works out in the end. This was really refreshing and amazing to hear since I really needed some R&B that wasn't as generic, or not generic at all, but some of that generic stuff that's out there. I was really glad to have listened to this and really glad on the way he presented it. A9, Giveon's album. That is the review. Let me know what you all think, and I'll see you all on Saturday for Jams of the Week. Peace and stay safe.